DC versus Vampires, issue 10, James Tynion IV and Matthew Rosenberg writing, with Otto Schmidt on the art. So it's been a very similar story, actually, with these issues. Not in a bad way, but just in that we've got these three plans playing out, and the issue is very much split between these three plots and going through them. So it leaves me with not a whole much to say in terms of overall analysis, other than just there's some fun beats with the various plots as they're going in. You know, you've got Babs and co going into Gotham, and it seems like Damian had Starfire at the ready to take out Black Adam, who comes after them.
Yeah, but she has to go above the atmosphere, so she's only good for like one good shot per time. Yeah. So I do like that, you know, storytelling wise, she can't just come in there and start frying vampires all the time.
I suspect
she's solar powered as well.
Yeah, I suspect she'll come in for one big hit in the final issue again.
Well, and the fact too that Damien's like, and it's gonna drive Dick nuts knowing that she's working against him. I love that, because what does that mean for Babs, right? Like if Starfire is one of his lost loves, Babs is his ultimate, and she's coming to kill him. Yeah,
I did get a little chuckle out of when they get in punchlines there, and she's taking over the black market in Gotham. Yeah, I love that Harley's like, wait, you took my old gig? Like, have you ever done anything original in your life? I don't know. I love that. I got a kick out of that. Yeah.
And I gotta feel like that came from Tynion, right? Considering he created Punchline.
Sure, yeah.
You know, but it could have been Rosenberg too. I feel like Rosenberg has a lot of fun, quippy stuff too, and from other books that I read. But yeah, that was a fun moment. Harley and the naked fight scene, not so much. Like that's more of the Harley that I don't.
Oh, give context. Like. You got to skip ahead and say that without.
Yeah. So they've Punchline is because since she's taken over, she's like, well, yeah, I'll let you in because overall I'm a businesswoman, but you guys got to do stuff for me. And they go to Babs and they want Punchline wants her to go kill a human in Gotham that's working against them. And Babs like, no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm here to save lives, not take lives. But of course, Damian goes and does it, and it ends up being Two-Face, which I thought was interesting. Damian goes kills Two-Face, but while they're settling that, a guard comes in to get Harley, and she's remind me of the context why she was naked.
So she's basically dressed up a mop to look like
That's
her,
right?
As a distraction, and then she knocks out the guard or whatever. And she's running around naked and then runs into the others, and it turns out that guard was coming in to let her out, which is the joke, is that she didn't have to do this, but she's just I got a little chuckle of Damian seeing her and going, looking good, Harley. I'm like, you're like technically still like 13 here. Like, I don't know. I got a slight chuckle.
Not so much that of the comedy I was enjoying. I mean, the setup would have been fine if it wasn't so, I don't know, it was way kind of over the top considering the tone.
Did you like, so the other team, Supergirl and Steel, arriving in Australia, he gives Supergirl CPR to, you know, because she is drowned, and then it turns out the water in her lungs is actually Jaina, who did that intentionally to try and help keep her alive, and also is a bit of transport.
I didn't mind it, because it does check out with Jaina and her form of water, so that worked out pretty well. Yeah. Them being in Australia and that starkness there is completely different than what we're getting in the Gotham stuff. So I thought Schmidt really shifting between those. You could really tell the difference in the settings. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and then they find this tower in the desert in Australia that they were looking for. The other thing of note is Oliver in Smallville. He after talking to Hawkman and trying to get him to, like, you know, turn against everyone, which doesn't work because he's a vampire.
Of course.
Oliver pulls out you know, a leaf or something and pisses on it, which grows into Swamp Thing. That's his big master plan. He had a bit of Swamp Thing on him that he and there's some awkwardness afterwards where he's like, oh yeah, we'll never talk about this again. You peeing on me.
The one part of the humor that worked there is the guy that he's talking to. I don't know if that's right, it is Grifter. Is thinking that he has weed or something because he pulls out the leaf and asks him for water, and then when he pees on it, he goes, well, never mind, I don't want to share with you. I thought that was pretty funny. The peeing on it was a little bit much, but whatever.
Yeah, it does feel like it was going for some comedy beats this issue, because the big fight's about to kick in for the last two. The other big plot point, of course, is that Babs turns on the bat signal in Gotham, and everyone's like, wait, is this a good idea? They're going to know where we are. It turns out that all of her associates in the city, which seems to be Cash, Duke, various other...
Bat family.
Yeah. Whoever one's left, Huntress is there. They have been planting these bat signals all over the city that use UV light. So she burns up a vampire, and then all of the other Bat family members are like, aiming these signals at vampire, and it's just making them burst into flames. So it's like, oh shit, she had this plan. They've set this up. There's some good visuals here, and this is your big, Dick's hiding behind a shield, up in his tower, and it's like, okay, they're coming for him. So
and I like when she talks through it that that Dick, being the king of the vampires, wouldn't want like blood farm blood. He would want like free range humans. So he kept Gotham as kind of like a free-esque city where humans could move around so he could hunt. And so that allowed her to have her people there surviving that were able to put these UV bat signals in. And, she reminds you that she learned at the foot of Bruce too. It wasn't just Dick and Tim and Jason. Like, don't forget about Babs. Babs is very competent at being a bat too. Yeah. And I like that.
Yeah. So I don't really have too much to say. There was some fun and that's not to say I'm not even critiquing the issue as I say that. It's just continuing to be fun. It's using it's sort of mixing the characters up and having them use things that make sense in the context of the story. And whether it's growing Swamp Thing or Jaina being inside Supergirl's lungs or whatever, it's mixing up some DC elements in fun ways. But I will say this back half has felt like we've been following these three groups on this trip for like 3 or 4 issues now. So it maybe feels like it's maybe just a little stretched out in terms of getting to the big finale, which seems like we're going to be getting to. So we have 2 issues left, and I suspect it's going to be a big 2-part, epic thing.
Bang bang. Yeah. But no, it was good, and just the smaller character moments here, like with Ollie when he's trying to talk to Hawkman, who notoriously in normal continuity those two do not get along, but him trying to appeal to his humanity and all the lives he's lived, and then Ollie under his best like Hal thought he was invincible too, and look what happened there. So I like that. I like the his hope in the face of, or hope still in the face of adversity. And that's Oliver Queen. But yeah, other than that, it is a lot of these big action-y beats, which is fine as we barrel towards the end. So, but yeah, it's just a fine book.
Yeah, what are you giving it?
7.5.
I agree. 7.5 is what I was setting at as well. Enjoyable. It's progressing things along.